All right, so today we're going to talk about a book called Go to the Hen by Dr. Uluwase Sarah Ayasere. And believe me, it's all about finding these incredible life lessons from, well, a source you probably never expected.
You know that feeling? You wake up, maybe you grab your phone, you start scrolling, and then bam, it's suddenly noon, and you're hit with that question, wait, what was I supposed to do today? It's that drift, right? That sense of a day just slipping away. I think we've all been there.
So, you might think the answer is some new productivity app or a self-help guru. But here's the twist. What if the clarity we're all chasing isn't out there in some complicated new thing? What if it's been right under our noses the whole time? Maybe even, in our own backyards.
Okay, so this brings us to our first big idea, the unlikely teacher. And yeah, you're probably not going to guess who it is.
So the author, Dr. Ayasere, she's an animal behaviorist, and her aha moment didn't happen in some fancy lab. Nope, it happened while she was just looking out her window. She saw a mother hen do two amazing things back to back. First, she makes this specific call to her chicks, like, hey, lunch is ready, and even breaks up the food for them. But then, just moments later, a hawk flies by and she makes a totally different urgent call, a warning, and all the chicks immediately run for cover. And that single moment of observation, that's what kicked off this whole book.
Which leads us perfectly into our second section, and really the first huge lesson we can learn from a hen. Know your nature. And this is all about individuality.
I mean, think about it. We usually look at a bunch of chickens and just see a flock, right? A sea of feathers. But it turns out the science of animal personality shows that's totally wrong. They are individuals. Each one has its own quirks and habits. You've got some that are creatures of habit, always sleeping on the top perch, while others are more social butterflies. The point is, they are not all the same.
And if you're wondering just how complex their little social world is, get this, 100. That's the number of different faces a single chicken can recognize and remember. And we're not just talking about other chickens. They can remember human faces too. That is an absolutely insane level of social intelligence.
And that's where it all clicks into place, right? This is the core message. Just like every chicken is its own individual, the author says our own journey to a happier, more abundant life, well, it starts with the exact same thing, embracing who we are in all our glory, instead of trying to be like everyone else in the flock. And get this, part of their nature is this deep-seated instinct to work for things. I'm serious. Chickens would rather go out and scratch around and forage for their food than just eat it out of a bowl. They'll even take food you give them, scatter it around, and then go find it again. So what's the lesson for us? It's pretty clear, isn't it? There's a real, genuine fulfillment that comes from our own efforts, from earning it, instead of just waiting for a handout.
All right, so once you get a handle on your own nature, what's next? Well, you have to apply it. And that takes us to section 3, Master Your Life. This is all about planning, preparation, and finding that sweet spot of balance. Just think about how a hen builds a nest. It is not a random process. It's a step-by-step masterclass. First, she searches for the perfect hidden, safe spot. Then she gathers all the soft materials she can find nearby. After that, she uses her beak and feet to arrange everything just so. And finally, she makes sure it's perfectly cushioned for what's coming. That is some serious planning. And the author makes this brilliant connection here. Laying an egg isn't easy. It takes a ton of energy and effort. And isn't that just like trying to bring a new idea to life? Whether it's a project, a business, whatever. It takes work. It's laborious. And just like a mother in labor needs support, our big ideas need a support system too. Mentors, partners, friends to help us actually bring them into the world. But hey, it's not all work, work, work. Chickens, believe it or not, live a surprisingly balanced life. They literally play games with each other. They have this dedicated self-care routine, using a special oil to preen and keep their feathers in top shape. And scientists have even found that playing music for them can reduce their stress. I mean, come on. It's such a great reminder that a good life isn't just about the grind. It's about balance.
Okay, so we've talked about knowing yourself and mastering your life. The next piece of the puzzle, naturally, is about others. So that brings us to lesson number 4, find your flock. And this is where we see what chickens can teach us about our relationships. Check this out. When a rooster wants to impress a hen, he does this whole courtship dance. It's not just random flapping around. He lowers one wing, does this series of quick little steps, but the most important part, he'll often go find a tasty little bit of food and offer it to her. And that's not just him being charming.
That little food offering is a powerful signal. It's him saying, hey, I can provide. I can support you. The whole performance is a show of competence and dedication. What a perfect, simple lesson in what a real partnership is all about, right?
Now, full disclosure, roosters aren't exactly the monogamous type, but plenty of other birds are. And when we say monogamous, we mean they stick with one partner for life. And that level of commitment, well, it leads to some pretty incredible stories. Dr. Iasere tells this one story from a zoo curator that just, wow. It's about a male ostrich whose partner died. The zookeepers tried to set him up with other female ostriches, to help him move on. But he wouldn't have it. He rejected every single one, even fighting them off. He's literally chosen to be alone ever since.
And that story just hits you, doesn't it? Because we understand those feelings so deeply. Loyalty, grief, loss. It really makes you stop and think, is our capacity to love and to lose really that different from what other animals experience? It really blurs the line.
So, where does this all lead? It brings us to our fifth and final section, which is really the hen's final lesson. A simple call to just pay attention.
When you boil it all down, the book is asking us to do one thing. Look closer. Really see the incredible complexity and intelligence in the animals that we share this planet with. The author's big hope is that in the process of learning from these animals, we can't help but learn to appreciate them too.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. This isn't really about chickens, is it? It's about what's right outside your window, in your own backyard, or on your daily walk. What wisdom is just waiting for you if you're willing to just stop for a second and really listen?